First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works, with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
Good morning, everyone. I'm First Alert Meteorologist CJ Cartledge here, just talking to you back on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown for today, talking to you about a couple of different topics for today. We have the tropical activity increasing, and storms are getting stronger out there in the tropics. And we're also talking about today being the first day of fall, and we're going to be talking about the outlook for how the weather will be looking like for this fall season. I know, just to give a couple of spoilers, we may be switching our weather pattern. The El Nino Southern Oscillation, it may turn from a neutral season to a La Nina season. That could mean different weather conditions for us, and that could actually boost our tropical activity out there in the Atlantic through the rest of the season here. But that's just a little bit of a sneak peek here. We're going to dive right into the forecast, but we're going to be talking about the countdown to the actual start of the fall season, which is at around 1:19 p.m. So that means later today, or as of right now, we are less than 3 hours away from the official start of the autumnal equinox, we're 3 hours or less than 3 hours away from the official start of the fall season, which is the autumnal equinox. And equinox is another word for equal day or equal night, hence the prefix equi, E-Q-U-I. But we won't be seeing exactly 12 hours of daytime and 12 hours of night. And technically, there's not even 24 hours in a day here to add it all up. There's only 23 and 56 minutes, I believe. But we won't be seeing exactly 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night, but it will be very, very close. It'll be a little bit more daytime as compared to nighttime. It will actually to be exact here, it will be 12 hours and 8 minutes of daytime and 11 hours and 52 minutes of nighttime here. But something that you may be wondering about is, when will the leaves change? As you can see by the leaves in the background of the picture there of this graphic, when will the leaves start to change here in the Arklatex? For those that are people who have lived here before for quite some time, you may already know that it takes some time for the leaves to start changing here in the southeastern United States. As you can see by that green color, denotes that November will be the time frame that leaves will start to change over into different colors like yellow or orange, and you have brown there, and you have some in the red colors that you see there. For those at higher elevations and colder climates, those areas will see the fastest change in the leaves here. As you can see there, September for the reddish colors there, and that denotes the higher elevations like the Rocky Mountains and portions in the northern United States like Minnesota, very close to Canada, and into portions of New York and Vermont as well, dealing with the fall foliage as of right now. Currently. But for those in the Appalachian Mountains, they may see more in the Appalachian Mountains in the southern portions of the Appalachian Mountain range there. Early October, you can start to see the leaves start to change colors there. And here for the Arklatex, we have to wait all the way into November. And for some areas, I believe the Arklatex last year, we didn't start to see the leaves start to change colors until mid-November. So as late as mid-November is when we can start to see leaves change here around the Arklatex and start to finally see fall and not necessarily feel like fall for maybe an instance or two. And that's what I feel like we're going to be dealing with in terms of weather conditions through the fall season. Just instances of fall-like weather and before temperatures reach back above the average for this time of year. But here's a look outside through our KSLA tower camera overlooking the Red River, downtown Shreveport, as well as Bossier City on the eastern side of the Red River. There we did see a bunch of fog out there, lower level clouds, as everyone headed off to work or school or wherever they may be for today. But we are sitting under mostly cloudy conditions as of right now here in the Shreveport and Bossier area. Looking across the Arklatex, most of this cloud cover has made its way into portions west of I-49 there in East Texas, as well as McCurtain County. And there's also a couple of isolated storms beginning to form in areas north of I-30 as of right now as well. Everywhere else across the Arklatex is dealing with dry conditions currently. Here's a look at temperatures right now. 79 for Shreveport, the same for Minden, 85 by Texarkana, 82 for Marshall and Carthage, still in the 70s by Center, and Florine sitting at 84 degrees as of right now. But we are feeling that humidity for sure. Some areas are already feeling like the lower 90s near Natchitoches and Florine. It feels like the upper 80s near Marshall and Carthage already for today. And it feels like temperatures are actually very close to actual temperatures, of course, near the Queen, where there is higher rain chances and minimal cloud, or there's a lot of cloud cover, we're expecting slight rain chances heading towards the afternoon hours. Southerly flow will be the cause of that, and we may see some showers and storms in the northern half of the Arklatex make their way towards the I-20 corridor as we move towards this afternoon here, as well as the southerly flow bringing about the rain chances through the afternoon also. Here's a look at the afternoon hours, and as you can see, 3 p.m. we could see isolated showers and storms begin to form, moving in from the south here. But heading towards the evening hours, we should see dry conditions once again. Heading towards the overnight hours, we're expecting mostly dry conditions once again here around the Arklatex before fog starts to form and dissipate heading towards the middle of the daytime. But not much rain is expected through the daytime hours on Tuesday, as you can see there. Maybe an isolated shower or two heading into our afternoon hours for most portions of Louisiana and portions of southeastern Texas here as well. But we are expecting a cold front to move through the Arklatex, and there it is right there, looking to move through Tuesday night into our Wednesday, and that's going to bring us the fall-like weather that we have been waiting for here around the Arklatex. This is also our next weather maker here in the Arklatex. It's expected to bring a round of showers and storms heading into our Tuesday night, into Wednesday morning, and as well as into some parts of Wednesday afternoon for our south and eastern portions of the Arklatex. A few of them could turn severe out there around the region here, and we are expecting much cooler air heading into the rest of the work week. Here's a look at future track, long range future track that is, and we are expecting that those showers and storms to remain along the line as it moves through the Arklatex. Here we are on Wednesday morning at around 7 a.m. that the bulk of the rain, showers, and storms will be moving through the midsections of the region, providing us a very wet and stormy commute for most areas along I-20 and northward. But the front should finally make its way to the southern half of the Arklatex by the afternoon hours, possibly lingering around. Some isolated showers and storms will be lingering around in the southeastern half of the Arklatex before it starts to move out and dissipate heading towards the evening on our or actually through the early morning hours of our Thursday. But we could see isolated showers and storms heading into Thursday as well before drier conditions commence heading into our Friday and into the weekend. Here's a look at our severe risk. There's actually a slight risk of severe weather implemented for areas north of I-30 heading into Tuesday night and for our Wednesday, early morning Wednesday as well. There's a marginal risk of severe weather for areas around I-20 and just north of I-20 as well, just close to that I-30 corridor. But the main threats to watch out for are the damaging winds, are the large hail, and the potential for flash flooding. There is a chance for tornadoes, but it looks to be more likely for areas north of I-30, well north of I-30, that is like near the Queen and the far northern portions of the Arklatex, and as well as just outside the region also. But heading into our Wednesday, through the daytime hours on Wednesday, as the front finally finishes moving through the Arklatex, marginal risk of severe weather is in place for areas in the far north or as farther south and eastern portions of the Arklatex there near Natchitoches Parish, as well as most portions of Louisiana. But we are expecting the flooding risk to remain non-existent for the most part through today. But heading into tomorrow, this includes through the day Tuesday and into the overnight hours on Tuesday into early morning Wednesday, we could see a slight risk of, or we have a slight risk of flash flooding out there. So make sure to watch out for flooded roadways. Make sure to turn around, don't drown, do not ever forget that. But heading into our Wednesday, the flooding risk will be very similar to the severe risk or the severe outlook, as you can see, for the areas south of I-20 for the most part, and south and east of I-20 there. South and eastern portions of the Arklatex are under a marginal risk for flash flooding heading into our Wednesday. But here's a look at the tropics. There are a lot of things have been going on in the tropics for this morning, a lot of updates that we should tell you about. And as you can see, this is the biggest update that we have here is the Hurricane Gabrielle, which is now a Category 3 hurricane. Earlier this morning when I came in, it was just a Category 1 sitting at 75 miles per hour sustained winds, but it encountered much warmer waters and it formed an eye. It actually formed an eye earlier this morning, as you can see there. This is a loop from around 3 hours ago, but as of this time, which I will check right now, I believe this was at 4:40 a.m. This was just another advisory just after I had came in, around a couple hours after I came in earlier this morning. It did not have much of an eye, but it was building that eye wall right there. But as I came in, it was around 75 miles per hour sustained winds, I believe, but it increased to a high-end Category 1 through the morning show, and heading into the 9 o'clock hour, or 8 or 9 o'clock hour, it did increase, or the National Hurricane Center had noticed that it had an increase in strength and a building of an eye wall, a more substantial eye wall, but it now has 125 mile per hour sustained winds, and it is now a major hurricane, denoted a major hurricane. It's still expected to remain at sea as of right now, as you can see, and is expected to remain at sea throughout its lifetime. Through the rest of today, it may rise to around 130 mile per hour sustained winds. It could reach Category 4 strength before it starts to make its weakening descent towards the lower categories, as you can see there. Category 3 by early morning on Tuesday, 125 mile per hour sustained winds. Category 2 by Wednesday morning, and by Thursday morning, it should reach cooler waters and unfavorable conditions there, reach towards Category 1 strength heading into our later part of the work week. But what also has been making headlines is another area, or two areas of potential development that have seen increased chances throughout this morning. Right now, this denoted by the red X is a tropical wave that is expected to move into a more conducive environment, but go under slow development. It is expected to move into more conducive environment later on in the forecast period, which is why it has a higher chance of development through the next 7 days and a low chance through the next 2 days ahead. It's expected to go under slow development, as mentioned before, and move in a very similar pattern as Hurricane Gabrielle did. But there's also another area of potential development that we are watching as of right now that is currently in that cone where, or that path where the first tropical wave is expected to move through. It has a 40% chance of formation to a tropical storm within the next 7 days, 10% within the next 2 days ahead. So we could very well see two more named storms added onto this year's hurricane season list, or named storm list here, if they do form into a tropical system. If they do form into a tropical system, actually, I want to show this real quick before we get into the 7-day forecast. If one of these form into a tropical system or a tropical storm, Humberto will be the first one if once it reaches tropical storm status, and Melda will be the next name after that if both of these storms reach tropical storm level. Now, let's go into that 7-day forecast here before we talk about our fall weather outlook as we move through the rest of this season, or the start of this season at least. We're expecting the first day of fall to still feel summer-like here around the Arklatex, with highs still rising into the low to mid 90s, some of us into the upper 80s out there, which is near or above the average for this time of year. Heading into the northern portions of the Arklatex, they may only rise, may only see highs in the mid 80s out there near Idabel and DeQueen. But heading into our Tuesday, very similar conditions are expected with isolated rain chances. But heading into Tuesday night into our Wednesday, that's when the changes finally reach the Arklatex and bring us a chance of severe weather and fall-like weather heading into our Wednesday afternoon, as well as into our Thursday. Heading into Friday and Saturday, we could see temperatures try to reach back towards the average and above the average for this time of year, especially as we move into the later later part of our 7-day, more than likely by Sunday, where we could see highs rise back into the lower 90s, which is well above the average for this time of year. But look at our lows. Those lows are going to be decreasing heading into this weekend. Lows in the 60s. We could see some lows drop into the 50s out there. So definitely more comfortable conditions are on the way for us heading into the later part of the work week here, and that's actually denoted by our muggy meter, which I forgot to show, but I may show coming up after this quick break. In just around 2 minutes, we're going to be diving into the forecast for long range forecast for what we can expect for the rest of this fall season. We're going to be looking at the Climate Prediction Center and looking at some outlooks for this fall season in terms of temperatures and precipitation, and even if they have an update. I don't believe they have an update for the tropics yet, but they will have an update tomorrow. We'll dive more into the tropics tomorrow, but make sure to stay tuned after this quick break, and we will be talking more about what we can expect for this fall season. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Just to give you guys an overview of what we're going to be talking about here, we're going to be diving into the Climate Prediction Center website. And wait, okay. I thought I was hearing a little bit of echo there, but we're going to be diving a little bit into the Climate Prediction website and Climate Prediction Center website, and we're going to be talking about the 6 to 10 day outlook, 8 to 14 day outlook, the monthly outlook, and the seasonal outlook, just to show you guys, or talk about or discuss and try to make sense of what we can expect for this fall season. As I've looked before, we are expecting above average temperatures, so let's just dive right into it here. There's the Climate Prediction Center website, and we are going to be looking at the 6 to 10 day outlook. And it shows that above average temperatures are expected not only here in the Arklatex, where my cursor is as of right now, but well above average temperatures are expected for the time frame of September 27th through October 1st. This was issued, I believe, yesterday for most portions like in the Dakotas, Montana, and Minnesota, and the northern portions of the United States here. But looking at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, we could see near normal or drier than average conditions for this time of year. So not much rainfall is on the way for us, at least through the next 6 to 10 days, according to the Climate Prediction Center. Now, looking through the next 8 to 14 days, this looks to shift a little bit here, mainly due to the different weather patterns that will be rolling past or rolling through the country. And as you can see, below average precipitation is expected near the Great Lakes region and the upper Midwest. But here in Shreveport and Bossier, we're expected to see near normal precipitation for the next 8 to 14 days. So we could very well see some rainfall for us, a near normal rainfall. So maybe isolated showers and storms, and maybe one system where it could mean anything. It could mean one system could roll through and give us a drier days afterwards, or a multitude of drier days afterwards, or that could mean isolated rain chances or a typical summer pattern as we move through the next couple of days. Those are two things it could mean out of the many different options. But we are expecting above average temperatures for the next 8 to 14 days, not only through the next 6 to 10 days as well. Let's take a look at our monthly outlook here for the month of October. If you're wondering about the month of October, we are expecting near normal or above average temperatures, at least above average temperatures or nearly above average temperatures for areas in the south and eastern portions of the region. So the entire state of Louisiana, near or above average temperatures are expected or forecasted here. We're expecting north and western portions of the Arklatex, north and west of Shreveport, to remain under near normal temperatures for this time of year. So receiving their fair share of above average and below average temperatures. In terms of the monthly precipitation outlook, we are expecting drier than average conditions. That includes the entire Arklatex region, including areas down in southern Texas, southeastern Texas, near Houston as well. And Dallas is included in this below average range here, below average precipitation range. And just by looking at the 6 to 10 day, 8 to 14 day outlook, as well as the monthly outlook, I can tell that we may be going under a La Nina season, and that looks to show right here with this blurb, this climate news blurb, just north or just on the top of these charts here. It says a transition from ENSO neutral to La Nina is likely in the next couple of months, with a 71% chance of La Nina during October through December 25th, and therefore La Nina is favored, but chances decrease to 54% in December 2025 to February 2026. So just to make sense of what I just read there with the monthly outlook, for La Nina conditions to be pretty much verified, or when La Nina conditions are verified, that means for us, that means below average precipitation across the Arklatex and most of the southeastern United States, and above average temperatures. We're expecting warmer than average temperatures and below average precipitation for us here in the Arklatex. So that could mean that we won't see much rainfall through the next next month, at least, as you can see there by the outlook. That's valid through October 2025. But what that means is we have a pretty good chance of seeing La Nina conditions, which is above average temperatures and below average rainfall for us. That's simply put. But looking at the 3-month outlook here for temperatures, that looks to remain pretty much the same for October, November, and December. So these seasonal outlooks for temperature and precipitation look to be very similar or very favorable of La Nina conditions, with below average rainfall for us and above average temperatures for us through the time frame of the next 3 months ahead, October, November, December. Now, so I'm gonna be going into more detail on what La Nina means as compared to neutral and to El Nino later on this week on Wednesday. That's Wednesday's topic of the First Alert Weather Breakdown. But just to give you guys a basis here, according to the Climate Prediction Center, we are expecting above average temperatures and below average rainfall for the next 3 months ahead, or at least through this fall season ahead. And looking at the tropics here, just curious if they released an update just yet. Nope, they have not. The latest issuance they had was September 16th. More than likely, they'll come out with a new update by either tomorrow or the next day afterwards. But more than likely, they will come out with an update for tomorrow. But here we are here just in case you were wondering, we're expecting above average temperatures here. As you can see, above average temperatures probability. We have a greater than 50% chance of seeing above average temperatures through the time frame of September 24th through the 30th. And we have a greater than 20% chance of seeing tropical storm development in this range over here in the Atlantic as well as in the Gulf of Mexico, which is why we're seeing such high chances of tropical storm development as of right now. We could very well see our next named storm in this region over here. Now, as we move to the next week afterwards, this is more than like the week 2 outlook now, as this forecast is pretty old or outdated almost. We are expecting greater than a 20% chance of tropical storm development out there in the Atlantic, and pretty much the same range out in the Gulf of Mexico as well. So we will definitely need to keep our eyes peeled on those tropics as we move towards the later half of this season here. So that's pretty much what the outlook is talking about as of right now. So if you were hoping for cooler than average conditions throughout the fall season, we may see temperatures slowly start to decline, but they're still expected to remain above the average for this time of year. That average will also decline. We're not expecting 90-degree temperatures through the rest of the season, fall season. That's not what I'm trying to say, but we are going to see fall-like conditions a little bit later as compared to everyone else here around the country for the most part here. So that just means that you just have to wait a little bit longer for the pumpkin spice weather and the sweater weather. Just to forewarn you, we may not see those type of conditions until maybe late October, early November. Just from what I've been seeing here for the past 2 years that I've lived here. But yeah, that's pretty much what we can expect for this fall season. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Breakdown on this podcast today. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about the tropics and all the activity that's been going on through the past couple of days, especially since today we've seen a tropical storm explode into a hurricane and a major hurricane through the past 48 hours here. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. Happy first day of fall. I hope you guys have a great first day of fall and stay cool and stay dry out there. We have isolated showers and storms possible through this afternoon, but make sure to stay weather aware or make sure to download the KSLA First Alert Weather app just to stay weather aware also about what's in the area in terms of rain showers or storms. They have live radar on there. And once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll be back on the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown tomorrow to talk about the tropics and everything about the tropics. They'll have a new update on the tropical outlook for the week 2 and week 3 update. And that more than likely will come out by tomorrow. So make sure to have a great rest of your day. Once again, have a great first day of fall. We are expecting fall-like conditions to arrive on Wednesday. So fingers crossed on that. And have a great rest of your day.